Dear listeners, a quick announcement before we start. The first segment contains descriptions of rape and violence. Hi, I'm Rahel Philipose and you are listening to Three Things, the Indian Express News Show. In this episode, we talk about the controversy surrounding the Delhi Services Bill that was passed by Rajya Sabha on Monday. We also talk about how a new court in a remote area in Maharashtra is making justice more accessible. But first, we talk about Rajasthan. There's widespread outrage in the state and many other parts of the country right now over the alleged gang rape and murder of a 14-year-old girl from the Bhilwara district. Protesters, including members of the BJP, the main opposition of the state, have been staging a dharna outside the nearest police station to the incident. And what makes the case even more shocking is the revelation made by the state police investigation earlier this week. 4 women, including the wives of the 2 main accused, had helped them burn the girl's body in a charcoal furnace. In this segment, the Indian Express's Deep Mukherjee talks to my colleague Shashank Bhargava about the case.
So Deep, tell us, what do we know about what happened to this 14-year-old girl and who was she?
Yeah, so the 14-year-old girl, the victim in this case, she used to live in a village in Bhilwara district of Rajasthan. And on August 2nd, like every day, she went to graze goats along with her mother. And after a while, what we have got to know from the relatives is that the mother went to her paternal place, which was nearby, leaving the child at that place, the 14-year-old girl, on a field, which was around just 1 kilometer away from their home. And when she came back in the afternoon, the mother couldn't find the girl. At first, she thought that she had returned home, but when she went home, she couldn't find her daughter. She could see that she hasn't arrived yet. She was worried and a search was conducted. And she went missing, and her mother tried to look for her around there, and she asked some nomads who were in that field about the location of her daughter, but they couldn't give any satisfactory answer. So after that, the family became very worried. So the girl couldn't be traced even till late evening.
Right, and what does the family do next? When do they come to know about what actually happened to her?
Yeah, so according to family members, they went to the police station, the local police station, and the policemen there reportedly didn't take their missing persons report and instead asked them to bring the girl's mark sheet and school documents, and also told them to come the next morning. So after the family returned from the police station, they once again conducted a search for the girl, and the girl's mother somehow felt that the action of the nomad was a bit suspicious. So the family went near those fields once again, and they could see that those coal furnaces which were on the field, which were non-functional in the morning, one of the coal furnaces, someone had lit a fire in that specific furnace. So they asked the nomads and confronted them, asking who had lit the fire. The nomads couldn't answer once again like satisfactorily. As a result, one of the family members took a piece of log and dragged the material burning in the furnace, and he could see the bones of the missing girl, and there was also smell of burning flesh, and that's when they realized that the girl had been murdered and then her body had been put inside the furnace.
And Deep, you visited the spot of the crime and met the family of the victim. How have they been dealing with this?
The family of the victim, the parents are inconsolable. There is palpable anger in the village. People are outraged by the way the girl was gang raped and then put inside the furnace. So a protest was going on till yesterday with people from various communities, including the community to which the girl belongs, and also the opposition BJP holding a huge protest and demonstrating right in front of the local police station demanding justice.
And in the meantime, of course, the family has blamed the police. They have said that they did not take timely action, and if they had done so, then the girl would have been alive. Could you speak to some of these allegations and what the family has been saying?
Yeah, so the family members are saying that had the police acted on time and jumped into action and searched for the girl, so when they went to the police station, according to the family, it was 9:30 p.m. in the night. The coal furnace was still not lit up. And so according to them is that till that time the girl was alive and could have been rescued. And even if she was dead, at least her body could have been retrieved. So the family members are saying that if the police had acted on time, then at least they would have been left with the body of the girl. But the very fact that she was so gruesomely burned in the furnace, it is because of the police negligence.
And what kind of action has the police taken so far, and who all have been arrested in the matter?
So, Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot recently tweeted that 7 people have been arrested in the matter. Earlier, the police have said that around 10 people were known to be accused in the case. They were all from that nomadic community which was staying in that specific field. And what is even more shocking is that when the body was being burnt, according to family members and the police, women from that nomadic community were were also present at this site, and they helped to allegedly destroy evidence. So it means that the women of the 2 main accused who allegedly gang raped the girl, they helped their husbands to cover up the crime.
And Deep, the Congress government in the state had already been facing criticism from the opposition regarding women's safety in the state. And last month, one of Congress's own ministers had spoken out about this and then later got sacked. So tell us, how has the ruling government and the chief minister reacted to this incident so far?
Yeah, so the Chief Minister has once again stated that Rajasthan is very serious when it comes to atrocities against women. He has said that the case will be taken under the case officer scheme, under which police constantly monitor the case till it goes to the court, and the district administration have also given a commitment that a charge sheet will be filed within a very short time, and the police will do everything in its hand to ensure that the highest punishment, which is capital punishment in this case, is given to the accused.
And next we talk about the Delhi Services Bill. On Monday, the Rajya Sabha passed the Government of National Capital Territory of Delhi Amendment Bill, which will allegedly strengthen the centre's authority over the administration of the capital. Ever since the Aam Aadmi Party first came to power in Delhi back in 2015, it's been entangled in an ongoing struggle with the central government regarding the management of bureaucratic transfers and appointments in the national capital. And now, the central government has enacted a bill that effectively shifts the control of services in Delhi under its jurisdiction. And after the bill was passed, the Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal came out criticizing the centre for allegedly making the Delhi government powerless.
चुनाव तो होंगे दिल्ली में, दिल्ली के लोग अपनी सरकार तो चुनेंगे, लेकिन उस सरकार को काम करने की कोई भी शक्ति नहीं होगी. ये कानून आज हमारे देश की संसद ने पास किया है. दिल्ली के लोगों की वोट की अब कोई कीमत नहीं बची है. अब सरकार बनाई, उस सरकार की कोई शक्ति नहीं है. Supreme Court.
To know more about the issue, my colleague Utsa Sarmin speaks to the Indian Express's Jatin Anand in this segment.
So Jatin, can you first tell us about the Government of National Capital Territory of Delhi Amendment Bill and what it seeks to achieve?
So the Government of National Capital Territory of Delhi Amendment Bill, which was tabled in the Lok Sabha and then was on Monday passed by the Rajya Sabha, is basically a bill which has been brought by the centre after it brought in an ordinance following the judgment of the Supreme Court, which dealt with the issue of services. In this case, if we translate services if we simplify services further, it was related to the transfers, the postings and vigilance matters related to the civil servants posted in Delhi. This bill basically is, depending on which way one looks at it, according to the centre which brought it, is supposed to ensure quote-unquote better governance in Delhi. Whereas if you look at it from the point of view of the elected Aam Aadmi Party Delhi government, it is allegedly a way to stifle the functioning of the elected government by controlling indirectly the bureaucracy that is utilized by it to administer the city.
Right, like you mentioned, it replaces the Delhi ordinance that came in May. But did the bill make any changes to the ordinance itself?
Absolutely. So one of the biggest changes that has been proposed by the bill is the fact that the LG now has quote-unquote sole discretion to act in matters which do not fall under the jurisdiction of the Delhi Assembly. Now, Delhi is a union territory with a legislature. That is its constitutional position. By virtue of that fact, what happens is that there are issues such as land, law and order and policing which come under the ambit of the centre. On the other hand, there are other matters such as education, health and related matters which the Delhi Assembly can make laws regarding. But the ordinance had created an authority under the name of the National Capital Civil Services Authority, which is basically a 3-member body which is chaired by the Delhi Chief Minister, in this case Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, as well as 2 other bureaucrats. They are the Principal Secretary Home and the Chief Secretary, who are supposed to take decisions regarding the transfer, posting and vigilance of civil servants who administer the city on behalf of the government or through the government. So one of the main changes that has been brought about in the act, which was through the route of the ordinance, is that this authority now is also empowered to take decisions regarding the members of autonomous and semi-autonomous bodies which function in the city. For example, the Delhi Electricity Regulatory Commission, the DERC, the Delhi Commission for Women. So all these various commissions and boards, their members also now will be chosen according to now, since it has become an act and following its implementation, following its ratification by the centre. All of these members and all of these individuals will now have to be chosen from a panel which this authority first will come up with, then put them up to the 3-member authority, including the Chief Minister and the other 2 bureaucrats who are picked by the centre. And it is only after the authority takes a call on them that they will be allowed to go ahead with the appointment to these bodies.
Right, and this was not the case with these autonomous and semi-autonomous bodies. Their appointments were done by the Delhi government.
They were, by tradition and mostly in practice, usually done by the Delhi government in consultation with the LG. But one can say that the Delhi government was, in practice, seemingly more autonomous when it came to making such appointments in the past.
Right, and during the debate in the Rajya Sabha before the bill was passed, these issues and concerns were raised by the opposition alliance. And Amit Shah came down heavily on the opposition and also gave reasons for why this bill was necessary. So can you tell us what arguments the central government has been giving in support of the bill?
Since the ordinance was promulgated in mid-May, the centre has consistently maintained that it was very, very necessary for it to bring the ordinance because, in their words, and their main argument is that, or has been, that Delhi was not functioning according to the constitution in terms of its governance and in terms of its administration. For example, he brought to the fore as one of his arguments that the Delhi Assembly was seemingly the only legislature in the country which has not been prorogued in as many as 6 to 7 years, 7 to 8 years since the Aam Aadmi Party government came to power, which is basically a way of saying that the assembly remains in session, but the session does not come to a close. If we delve into the technicalities, the reason for this is that for every sitting of the Delhi Assembly, for every time that it goes in session or goes into session or sits for a session, it is supposed to go through the office of the Lieutenant Governor as per the transaction of business rules, as per the rules which govern the administration of the capital. Apart from that, he also accused the Aam Aadmi Party of trying to get services under its ambit, which the centre claims cannot happen according to the constitution, because it allegedly wants to save its top leadership from the logical conclusion of cases of corruption, which include some of the examples which the Home Minister cited yesterday were the creation of the FBU, or a feedback unit, by the Aam Aadmi Party government soon after it came to power in 2015. He cited as an example alleged corruption in what he called the Sheesh Mahal, or the official residence of Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal on Flagstaff Road. He mentioned, for example, allegations of corruption in giving money to power discoms, that is the power distribution companies which provide power to the citizens of Delhi, among other such instances.
And Jatin, now that the bill has been passed, could you tell us how the Aam Aadmi Party has reacted to it?
Well, the main concern that the Aam Aadmi Party government has been seeking an answer to and has been expressing all this while is regarding how an elected government through this act is rendered mainly toothless when it comes to administering the city, which its representatives have been elected to govern. Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, as soon as the debate ended on Monday, in a video message accused the Bharatiya Janata Party Centre and especially Prime Minister Narendra Modi as well as Union Home Minister Amit Shah of trying to quote-unquote enter Delhi's administration and its governance through the back door, or the Chor Darwaza as he called it. by indirectly exercising control over Delhi's administration, over Delhi's governance through bureaucrats. The other concern which Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal himself expressed on Monday was that this renders completely valueless the vote of an average Delhi citizen. He compared the act to the Government of India Act, which was put in force by the British in 1935, which to say basically, or to underline the allegation that here is again a scenario where people elect their representatives, but those representatives in effect are powerless because they cannot take decisions for the betterment of and for the improvement of the lives of the citizens that they have been elected to govern by them, but basically puts more power in the hands of the bureaucrats who are, well, according to the allegations of the Aam Aadmi Party, free to do as they wish as long as they have the LG's permission to do so. The LG, mind you, is also somebody who is a nominee of the president and is appointed by the centre.
And finally, we talk about a new sessions court in Maharashtra's Gadchiroli district. Until last month, when a new sessions court was set up in Aheri Taluka of Maharashtra's Gadchiroli district, justice almost seemed out of reach for hundreds of people residing in surrounding villages. Before this court was inaugurated, victims of crime had to travel long distances through Maoist-affected forest areas and pay a lot of money to get to the district's sole sessions court in North Gadchiroli. According to the Indian Express's Jayprakash S Naidu, who reports on Maharashtra for the paper, this is because of the sheer size of the district.
So, see, every district has a sessions court where severe crime cases with punishment above 7 years are tried. These are like murders, rapes, and corruption cases, money laundering cases, terrorism cases. So Gadchiroli district already had a sessions court in Gadchiroli city, but this Gadchiroli city is located towards North Gadchiroli. And if you see the district map, the district is lengthy, like Mumbai. So for the people of South Gadchiroli, it has always been trouble to travel, say, over 400 kilometers back and forth just to go to the sessions court.
And so last month, the Aheri Taluka got its own court. Situated about 120 kilometers away from the district headquarters, Jayprakash says this court will considerably reduce travel time and expenses for those from the south of Gadchiroli district. In the past, individuals residing in distant villages had to journey across hundreds of kilometers to access the court.
Now, in South Gadchiroli, the southmost taluka is Sironcha. And again, from Sironcha, there are remote villages and remote police stations which have to travel nothing less than 200 kilometers to reach to Gadchiroli Sessions Court. Now, what happens is some of them are Naxal affected areas as well. And some of the cases that go over there are Naxal cases, where Naxals get arrested. And this entire place, like we all know, Gadchiroli is a forested district. A lot of the district is in deep forest. So for them to traverse through these secluded roads for over 100 kilometers and reach Gadchiroli city sessions court, it's quite a task. Second thing is, as far as the victims are concerned, these are tribal villages where, poverty is there. And of course, with poverty, they don't have much information about, how this crime system works. Then for them to, first take legal help and then travel such a long distance, that itself is a big task.
To make matters worse, several bus services from South Gadchiroli have been cancelled over the past year due to bad roads, forcing people who need to go to the court to bear the expenses of taxis along with an overnight stay. Here, Jayprakash explains how a local iron ore mine had contributed to increasing the travel time to the district sessions court.
To add to it, because of this Surjagad mines which have come up in 2021 December, the roads, have been affected very badly because some 1,000 trucks travel through these bitumen roads. And because of that, the roads are in worst condition. Now, this adds to their travel woes. Like the some distance which can be covered in 2 hours is taking like 4 to 5 hours. And since Sironcha is a border district near Telangana, what some of them are doing is they are taking a longer route. Like to come to Aheri, now the new sessions court is in Aheri. Now to come to Aheri, they have to come through Telangana. So the already 110 kilometer distance is converted into 200 kilometers. So you can imagine what was happening earlier when the sessions court was in Gadchiroli.
In instances where daily hearings were scheduled, victims and witnesses from remote villages were compelled to make numerous trips to the city of Gadchiroli, which often resulted in significant expenses. Jay, for example, came to know that approximately 20 individuals from the remote village of Nandigao have been making trips to Gadchiroli Sessions Court for over 2 years to attend hearings and claim to have spent over 2 lakh rupees solely on commuting.
So what has happened is there was a land dispute where the land belonged to a school in that village, and some strong man in the village was trying to usurp the property. Some 20 odd villagers came together and filed a civil case some 2 years ago. Now, one of the villagers, Mr. Namdev Gampala, he's a tribal person. So he was telling me that these 20 odd people, they have traveled more than 10 times to Gadchiroli, and in these 2 years, they have spent over rupees 2 lakh just in the petrol, hiring the cars and bikes and food expenses just to travel to Gadchiroli. And secondly, because you cannot complete the travel in one day. Once you reach there, 6-7 hours will go in the proceedings, and then by the time you come, it's either in the wee hours, or if it's raining heavily because of the bad roads, you decide not to go back and make a stay over. So now because of these poor people, because of not having much money, they used to spend the night at the bus stop, and then next day they used to come back. So yes, it has been quite a difficult task for these people, especially from those who come from remote villages.
According to Jayprakash, the demand for a new sessions court was first raised by a group of local lawyers in 2008. Since then, they have made multiple trips to the state government headquarters in Mumbai.
This demand was started by the local lawyers because there is a magistrate court there in Aheri, but for sessions court they had to travel to Gadchiroli city. So if they travel like 6-7 hours a day, they are missing out on clients in the magistrate court. Somewhere in 2015, there's a Bombay High Court judge who was posted in Gadchiroli Sessions Court. His name is Mr. Bhushan Ramkrishna Gawai. So he promised the people that he will try to get a sessions judge in Aheri. And he made this promise in a public speech during the inauguration of a new court building. Now the same new court building houses the sessions court. So he finally kept his promise.
So far, 357 criminal cases awaiting trial have been successfully transferred to the new sessions court. Additionally, officials have confirmed the transfer of 206 civil cases involving individuals from the region as well. But Jayprakash says trials are yet to begin at the new court.
A judge named R.N. Bavankar has taken charge, but public prosecutor who represents the victims, due to some personal issues, he has not taken charge yet, and hence the trials have not started, but they will start soon. As soon as he takes charge, it will start. And some 23 staffers from the Gadchiroli Sessions Court have been shifted here, and even they have taken charge.
You were listening to 3 Things by the Indian Express. Today's show was hosted by me, Rahel Philipose, and was written and produced by Utsa, Sarmin, me, Rahel Philipose, and Shashank Bhargava. It was edited and mixed by Suresh Pawar. If you like the show, then do subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also recommend the show to someone who you think will like it, share it with a friend or someone in your family. It's the best way for people to get to know about us. You can also tweet us at Express Podcasts and write to us at podcast@indianexpress.com.